Welcome to our continuation of the program, reviewing and agenda setting for the new year. And that is management-based. It is people-oriented. It is societal involved. It is a program that is supposed to ensure that there is development, enhancement of the standard of living, and at the end of the day, getting results for both the publics and the government. Your Image Public Relations Program this week will be reviewing what we have done last week, and that is looking at how people are supposed to come up with thorough investigation on the projects that were earmarked and have been executed to enable us to have accountability, openness on the budget estimates and how we have performed so far. This week, we're now going into setting agenda. Of course, you remember we had town hall meetings and the like, and this is the time to begin to draw needs, draw expectations, and meet the yearnings of all of us. This week, I have with me once again Dr. Abeokuta. He's a mass communication lecturer with the Christian University, Abeokuta. You're welcome, sir.
It's my pleasure to be here once again.
You were very good last week. Thank you for your resourcefulness. Alhaji Ebunatinuke, the zonal chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Management and deputy registrar, Federal College of Education. You're welcome, sir.
It's nice being with you again today.
I appreciate your effort last week.
My pleasure. Anytime.
And this week, we are having a chartered member of the Institute of Personnel Management in the person of Dr. Banji Akitunde.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here again.
You are a known face on this platform,
Yeah,
and we are always able to acknowledge your resourcefulness too.
Yeah, thank you
and
very much.
I know we're going to benefit a lot this week.
I believe so.
Thank you very much for coming. Let's quickly go into action. Budget has been reviewed, and we've had the opportunity of going into the new year, planning for what we are going to execute. Dr. Banji Akitunde, in setting agenda for the new year, what do you think we should consider?
Well, in setting agenda, you have to look at the problem that needed to be solved, the need that needed to be met, for who. After getting this right, it is then you can define the goals. Having gotten the goal, the next thing is to look at who. Who is to implement this goal? The type of goal and the extent to which you achieve the goal depend on who. For example, you can have an entrepreneurial person, and you can have somebody who is bureaucratic. The type of goal you expect with a bureaucratic leadership is different from what we are going to see in an enterprising person. So you have to look at who are the helm of affairs, who are the critical officers in different segments of a setting of an organization that will implement it. Because the extent and success, the extent of the success of a program depends on the drivers. These are the drivers. So that is one side. The second side regards the environment in which you are going to implement this program or plan of action that you have in mind. Now, we have social, political, and economic environment, which you have to consider. The political environment will depend on, or will affect the type of resource that is even available to you, the type of opportunities that's available. So the key person who is going to implement it must be able to navigate in the environment that the political the politics of the day suggest.
Sorry, can I come in? If it is person-oriented, remember that there are various officers that are saddled with responsibilities. And could it not affect, if a budget or an action plan is targeted towards a particular person, could it not affect the output in a way?
The first thing, like I said, you must start from the need to be met, the goal to be achieved. So that's the first thing. It is that one that determines who is best fit to achieve this goal.
Okay, now picking the individual that will now execute that plan.
Yes.
Good.
I'm stressing the importance of environmental analysis, the vision, and then the type of person who is best placed to execute a particular goal within a particular environment.
But is that not better placed in corporate organizations than government ministries and parastatals?
You see, it is the same. It is the level of expertise. You must have certain level of expertise to operate in any environment. If you have that expertise, you will be able to navigate whatever environment, whatever situation you find yourself. So it's an independent attribute that you can use in different contexts.
Alhaji Atinuke,
Yes.
what's your opinion?
Well, further to what Dr. Akintunde has said, and when we are looking at setting agenda and goals for whatever entity, be it corporate or individual, there are some notions that has to be considered before that. For instance, when you are to set agenda or goal, you are expected to define it clearly from the onset, from the word go. You are to define it without any form of ambiguity, because that is the only way that it will now make it easier for you to actually actualize. Then after defining the goal, you're also expected to make sure that it is quite specific. That is, there are no two ways about it. It is not vague.
Okay.
Then it is expected to be time bound.
Okay.
Very important. Because whenever you are setting agenda or goals, it should be time bound. And of course, as a professional manager, that will take me to this notion of SMART. Yeah. That whenever you are setting agenda, you have to put into consideration, it has to be specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, then time bound too, and realizable. So by the time you have this at the back of your mind, definitely you'll be focused. And at the end of the day, by the time you are getting towards the end of the year, you will at least achieve a near 100% or 90% project execution.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kunu, being specific, what are the roles of the public relations executive in this assignment of agenda setting?
Well, basically, the role of PR in this has to do with engagement. It is through engagement you have the inputs that will form the basis for setting the agenda in form of assessment, engaging the audience about what do you want, how do you want us to achieve this. It is the engagement you have with them that will give us an idea about what kind of activities to plan for the year, what kind of objective do we need to set. When we even have the idea, we need to continue to engage the audience to assure them that this is what you want and this is what we are doing, so that we need their support. And that thing will only come when we engage them. Because it is one thing for us to have idea about what the people want. It's another thing for us to do it and to get their support. Most times, one of the reasons why most government projects fail is because the intended audience will not see it as if, will not see it in their own, to their own benefit. And when that happens, you will not get the community support, people will not give the needed assistance. You have to be mobilizing them again. But if from the outset, you've already engaged them, so when you are coming out with the program, they are aware. You won't need to spend much money to canvass them or to mobilize them for it. They are aware that what you are doing, the community town hall you are building, the empowerment projects you are doing, the different developmental projects you are instituting are for them. So they are the one that will be telling, we are here waiting for you. But most times, the reason why most of these things do not get the needed support is because the level of engagement is very low. And that is why we need a professional public relation officer.
What causes the level of engagement to be very low?
It's because we don't have the right personnel that will drive this. It's not just about creating, it's not just about making noise. It's about identifying stakeholders. It's about meeting them. It's about playing a proactive role. It's about interacting with them. It's about counseling leaders based on what we get. And it is only a professional public relation officer that can do that. Somebody that is well groomed in the act of engaging with audience on behalf of the organization or the government. If you are not groomed in that area, there is no way you can excel. PR goes beyond just writing press release. It's about excelling in all this area. CAB is representing your organization or your government very well. And you can only represent people very well when you identify the audience and you are engaging with them. I'm so particular about the word engagement. You have contact and you have connection with them and you keep speaking with them. When you do this, all the project that the organization wants to execute or the government, people will be ready to accept it and they will see it as to their own benefit.
Alhaji Atinuke,
Yep. So,
that's a challenge for you. Talking about engagement with the stakeholders in an organization or in governance. As a management expert, don't you consider so many things when you are coming up with budget expectation, budget planning and budget estimates, action plans? How do you then gather people? How do you come up with necessary inputs that will form the basis for the budget?
well,
Did you get me right?
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Actually, my response to what you have said, I will not only look at it from the budget aspect alone, even from the aspect of actualizing the objectives of any organization. The onus is always on the management to ensure that people are well orientated and given the right focus. For instance, you are not expected to lose focus when you are coming up with actualization of either budget or any government policy. You are expected to be properly focused so that you will not derail. And in the course of being focused, along the line, the individuals, the human resources that are being utilized to actualize this project are expected to be properly motivated, because you have to continue to oil the wheel that will now lead to the progress of the project to be executed by such entity. Because if individuals are not properly motivated, there is no way they can put in their best towards such project. So what I'm saying as a management expert in this wise is that you do not look at the vague aspect of any project. You look at the reality aspect, and when you consider the reality aspect, because human beings are the ones that are going to put all these actions into work, you have to consider their good motivation and that at the end of the day, they will not lose focus.
Dr. Atinuke?
Yeah.
I mean, Dr. Akintunde?
Yeah.
He has also come up with an area that needs your expertise,
Yeah.
the human resources. You as a chartered personnel manager, in coping with the budget expectations and execution, what do you consider needful to motivate, to engender a conducive atmosphere for the people that will drive this project?
You see, the first thing, like I was trying to say at that time, is having appropriate objective. Objective itself has very powerful motivational impact.
What are the objectives?
The objectives in terms of what is the organization trying to achieve? Who are the target markets?
Okay.
What do they want? How does it relate? How does it affect the people? We should construct that objective in a way that is meaningful and has immediate relevance to different publics. Like my brother there have said, that they must be able to have ownership of that. This thing we want to achieve this because we believe in it. We have been engaged.
They should see it
as their own. See, if they don't see it, it don't see that way, it will affect the execution. That's number one. Number two is the external audience too, because they are the one to supply certain resources that you require. You must construct the objective in such a way that they see relevant, that this organization is working for us. Then after that, see, most of the problem is most times these objectives, after being fixed, you don't link it to individual day-to-day activities. And when you do that, you don't link those activities, the achievement of those activities, to what is in it for me. The achievement of those activities must be linked to certain reward structure. The reward structure must discriminate. It is not a question of turn by turn. It's not a question of you give it to this cadre. No, you must have specific objective that when achieved by who, by A or B, it goes there.
It must be the corporate objective, and then the mission must be followed.
It's a specific time that individuals say, if I can do this, I will get that. So after you have gotten that, then measurement. You see, we don't set objective now and wait until the end of the year. That's one of the cause of the problem with performance appraisal especially. By the time you are appraising performance at the end of the year, it's already too late. Human factor will now come in. Now say, if I rate this person D, people will say this and that. There will be a lot of pressure. You see a lot of fake, inaccurate assessment. But if you have broken it to say 3 months, you have opportunity to assess, to see early warning signals, to see areas you need to make some adjustment. A lot of suggestions will come in that will help you to make it better. And lastly is issue of integrity. First, integrity of the leadership. If there is no integrity, you see a lot of inflated contracts, inflated prices of things, a lot of corner cutting that will make it difficult for you to objectively assess the budget itself. So integrity is important to drive the implementation process, because the people will be expecting, for example, you have a boss that they don't trust. Okay, we have done this, what is in it for us? Because they believe that this estimate is wrong, that this man has overinflated the prices. Okay, please give me this. So if you don't give them what they expect, of course there will be problem. They won't be committed. But if they know that you are transparent, whatever we get, it will be on the table, and everybody will get according as he has contributed. So there won't be much problem.
I think that's a department to guide us into how we come about budget estimates and the like.
Of course, yes.
So what is their role?
At whatever levels, be it at state, local, or even national level. Of course, like he has said, their role is to lay down the appropriate guidelines, right, which are expected to be followed. And any deviation from it, there should be appropriate sanctions and consequences. But it's not that most times these issues are only done on paper. By the time we are to put it to practice, that is when other considerations starts coming in. And at the end of the day, it's always a setback to the system. So what I'm saying in effect is that if the regulation as laid out by the enabling documents are properly followed, definitely budget implementation will not be a problem to us.
Dr. Kunu, there's an area that can make nonsense of all that we have planned for in the year. And if we are not careful, the credibility that we are supposed to earn will be wasted. What do you consider that the public relations expert within that domain should be doing to avoid that gap?
Well, public relations is not reactive. And like Dr. Aketunde said, one of the reasons why we normally have issues with project execution is because we delay evaluation. When there is problem in setting objective and in setting guidelines, which we normally call the evaluators, then there will be problem with the success of the project. If there is a problem, there is nothing PR will do. And that is when you now be expecting PR to be playing with facts, to be economical with the truth. But in a situation whereby you want PR to be professional, PR right from beginning should be there when you are coming up with the idea. Then it should be structured in such a way that there will be room for transparency. We need to know what is on ground. This is how far we have gone. What problems do we have here? And PR should be able to counsel the leaders that, sir, this project we intend to carry out, let's be transparent enough to tell people that because of this, we have to stop here. We need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. We need to be straightforward with people and tell them where we have challenges. We need to solicit and get their empathy. So in that situation, that is where we can earn people's trust.
Empathy and not sympathy.
Not sympathy, empathy. That is where we can earn people to be transparent.
Okay.
Do we get this? So it's not about PR just coming up at the end of the day by saying, yes, we have executed this. And people will be looking like, what have you executed? There is nothing there, it's just ordinary case. It's just like window dressing.
Dr. Kuno, I asked that question because it is expected that the communication mechanism for any system is supposed to come up with assessment and communicate how far we have succeeded in the project that we are executing. So if there is any gap, if there is any delay, if there is any issue that is not making us to achieve success, then it is better we communicate so that people will understand what is happening. I want you to give us your last shot. Advise the PR experts.
Well, PR practitioners should be proactive. PR practitioners should be trendy, should be research-oriented, and should have facts at his disposal that will guide leaders. Your duty is to provide information that will guide leaders in setting objectives, in carrying out projects, so that you will not wait and try to patch anything. Don't patch anything. Engage the stakeholders. They are the ones that will tell you this is what we need. Engage them when the program is on, and engage them at the end of the day, so that when you are talking holistically. And it's when you do that, you can now be talking with integrity.
Alhaji Atinuke.
Well, yes, as far as budget implementation and agenda is concerned, my parting shot as far as the issue is concerned is to let us know that the only permanent thing in life is change. People should be ready to take change, to accept change. They should not see it as business as usual. Rather, they should see the review, the budget agenda, and setting of goals that will now lead to implementation. They should see it as something that is open to change.
As a chartered personnel manager.
Yeah. First,
the
organization should decide what they want to do in terms
of
the political environment.
In this case, I want you to charge the people that are concerned with the projects.
Yes. First is that they should decide whether they want to achieve political or economic objective. And that has to do with who are in place. If that is wrong, other things will be wrong. That's number one. Number two is don't wait until the end of the year. Break it. Number three, link activity to reward. Thank you.
So, Avias, it's been wonderful having these gentlemen with us. They've been highly proactive. And I believe that if we take those steps they have enunciated as holistic as they have come, then we'll have a better society. It is your image. This program is open for sponsorship, and you can be with us on DSTV 260, GoTV 100, StarTimes 113. Until next week when we have another time and another topic to discuss. Bye.